For viewers across Africa and the rest of the world, this is NC Continental Prime. I'm Kofi Bartels. Our coverage tonight begins in the west of the continent, where the presidential candidate of Nigeria's opposition, People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has filed new documents against President Bola Tinubu before the country's Supreme Court. According to Atiku, the documents accuse the president of forgery and lying under oath and should therefore be disqualified and removed from office. The evidence filed by the former vice president were the academic records of Tinubu, which were handed over to him by the Chicago State University on Monday, following the order of an Illinois court in the United States of America instructing the institution to release the academic records as requested by Atiku. The PDP candidate had requested the documents for use in Nigerian courts to support his argument that Tinubu forged a certificate he claimed to have obtained from the CSU in 1979, which was submitted to the electoral body of the country, the Independent National Electoral Commission, for the 2023 presidential election. To discuss this, we're joined by Eric Omare. He's a legal practitioner. Eric, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
Right, have you have been following, obviously, the academic qualification controversy of President Bola Tinubu, and that's why you're here. Let's take what's your overall reaction to the situation?
Well, I would say that it's a very interesting one. Interesting because there haven't been such a precedent before where a party in the presidential election contest seeks to tender fresh evidence at the Supreme Court. So it is a very interesting one. And at the end of the case, it will throw up a lot of new issues that have not been adjudicated in Nigeria before, especially at the Supreme Court. For me, as a legal practitioner, it will be interesting. I honestly look forward to the outcome, how the Supreme Court will react, and how the issues will be resolved.
The PDP we hear have proceeded to the Supreme Court with those documents, fresh documents that they say should prove that President Bola Tinubu committed perjury, if you want to call it that, and therefore should not have been fit to run for office. How do you see this playing out from a legal perspective?
Well, under our laws, generally, a party can apply to call evidence on appeal, either at the Court of Appeal or the Supreme Court. The Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court rules provides for it. But the peculiarity of the situation we have at hand is that this is an election case. And in election cases, we say that they are sui generis. Sui generis means that they are in a class of their own. They have their special rules. They have their special laws that governs them, especially because they are time sensitive. So over the years, apart from few cases where the general rules apply, special rules applies to election cases in respect of the time within which to present a petition, the period within which to present your case, the sort of evidence or documents that you must present, the period within which to do it, the period within which to deliver judgments, and the period within which to conclude even on appeal. So the part of the things that we look forward to see is whether the general rules on calling of additional evidence on appeal, either at the Court of Appeal or especially at the Supreme Court, are
all right, I guess we've lost the connection with our guests. I do not know if you can hear me, Eric Omare. All right, we'll try our best to get back to him if time permits us. Eric, are you there?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, we lost you briefly.
I was saying, yes. We look forward to how the Supreme Court will resolve these issues, having regard to the fact that this is an election case that is sui generis, is peculiar.
All right, Eric, we're sorry, we'll have to move on with our stories. And Eric, are you there, please?
So we look forward to how the Supreme Court to resolve the issues at the end of the day.
All right, a final one. Do you expect a different ruling from what the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal gave us? Because experience has shown, if you look at the history of the cases in Nigeria, that the apex court has never sacked a sitting president. Is there a possibility that Nigerians may see this for the first time?
Well, I don't want to preempt the outcome of the appeal at the Supreme Court. It's not a good thing to do, even as an individual and more especially as a legal practitioner. Let's wait for the outcome. And in any case, a situation starts in a day. There wouldn't have been precedent, as Lord Denny once said, if things don't happen one day. But with specific reference to the case on appeal, I wouldn't want to express an opinion whether it's possible or not. It's up to the Supreme Court to decide and depending on the facts and circumstances presented to the court. So I would prefer that we wait for the outcome of the decision by the Supreme Court. But overall, it is an interesting one. This petition has presented issues that were never presented before the Supreme Court of Nigeria in previous cases before, and we look forward to how the Supreme Court will resolve the issues.
All right, Atiku Omare, legal practitioner, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.